Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Western Alliance Era 2 Premium Medium Tank, the VT2. Now the VT2 is basically a Leopard, but it's a Leopard with some differences, because as opposed to all the other Leopards in the era, it doesn't have a 105mm gun, it actually has a 120mm gun, which is great. It's pretty accurate, its penetration is pretty damn nice. Its alpha is higher because it isn't that 105 like the rest of the Leopards. It does have a nice higher alpha, so as opposed to the, what is it, 480 that the other Leopards tend to get, or 460, this tank has 510 alpha, which is really nice. Like I say, you've got that 120mm gun, which slaps and means you can overmatch quite a few tanks that are in the area that are more lightly armoured, and you can make light work of them. And like I say, the penetration being at around the 420 mark is really good. You can go through most tanks you'll face with it, but if you see stuff like the FV4211s that are really prevalent in this era, you can just load premium and go for 500 and something pen, which just demolishes them. You can go straight through the turret fronts, you can go straight through the upper plate, straight through the lower plate. You can just completely destroy that tank, which is great, because they are so annoying to face at times, and to be able to deal with that is fine. The other big difference this tank has over a lot of the other Leopards is the fact that it has some sort of armour. Because most of the Leopards are paper, this thing actually has turret armour. And the turret armour is pretty damn good for going hull down. You'll bounce a fair amount of shells off this turret armour, which can be really helpful in making this tank better at brawling, essentially. It means you can brawl a bit more in this tank than you can in other Leopards. But your hull armour is still pretty tragic, as with most Leopards, so just be careful when you do get caught out that you can still get slapped up. And ATGMs will love you still in your upper plate, so you just got to be careful of that. Yeah, in terms of the rounds as well, I don't run heat rounds generally in this tank, because heat rounds in Era 2 and Era 3 are pretty pointless and pretty useless. But again, it's probably worth taking 3 or 4 these days because of the Wolverine that's about as the, you know, the premium Swedish tank destroyer. And if they ever decide to release any more of the S tanks, they decide to release the S tanks, Swedish tanks, you probably might be more likely to take heat, because that'll be able to go through their extremely angled armor, because you can't really overmatch them at this point. I think it's got 60mm of armor, that tank, so you need like a 180mm gun to, or more than that anyway, to be able to overmatch it. So use the heat so that you can go through it because of the normalization mechanic, and it'll deal with the angled armor decently enough, and you'll be able to go through it. So you're probably best to take some heat. 3 or 4 rounds at best though, because like I say, with the ammo capacity, you're going to end up having to fire those heat rounds, no doubt, at some point, and heat, like I say, in this era is pretty pointless and really annoying for that. So in terms of a crew on the VT2, I run a pretty standard crew for what I run for a lot of mediums and heavies, and that is I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanic, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and Off-Road Driving. Off-Road Driving to make sure that I hit my top speed, because that is one thing that this tank doesn't have like a lot of the Leopards, and that is a fantastic top speed. It still does go pretty quickly, it just doesn't hit that top speed of 65 very quickly. While it is quick, like I say, you know, most of the Leopards go at like 70, right? But while it is quick, it seems to be a bit sluggish to get up there, so you want the off-road driving to help it get up there, as we take a big hit from the M60A2 there. Yeah, the off-road driving to help it get up to its 65km/h top speed really nicely, and then the gun perks again to make this gun as good as humanly possible, because the big strength of the tank is how good this gun is, so you want to make it as good as possible you possibly can. In terms of equipment, rammer, vert stabs and vents. Vents to make your all-round tank better. Vert stabs to make your gun 20% better always, like I say, just maximise the gun. And rammer to make your DPM 10% better. So this first game's on Fisherman's Bay, and so far from that position we're in, we've managed to get 4.5k damage, but we've also taken quite a lot of damage in ourselves. We're now a one-shot for a fair few of the ATGM tanks in front of us, like the M60, but we're also a two-shot for tanks like that M60A1. Thankfully, that M60A1 has a really fairly easy-to-hit big weak spot on the top of his turret. It's really easy to pen as well, and we just keep slamming shots straight into that guy's cupola. The BMP2, I think it was in front of us. It started to machine gun a little bit, but he couldn't quite hit us. Like I say, unfortunately, we took a big hit from the ATGM from that M60A2. Like I say, they do tend to pen you. Now this MGAC 5 is running through, and it's like, hello, sir. Okay, thank you for the free shots here. And we're just going to keep pumping some shots into his side as he gives us the shots. Unfortunately, that one ricochets off his engine deck, but now we're hull down. Like I said, I'm pretty confident in the VT2's turret. As you've seen, we've already blocked a little bit of damage so far, and if we stay hull down against these guys, we should be able to bounce them. Unfortunately, we made a mistake in pushing a little bit too high on the ridgeline, and that MGAC managed to pen our upper plate. We managed to shut down the M60A1, who thought they were going to get the drop on us. Now there's the BMP2 in front of us, and then the rest of their team is probably at A, B, 1, 2. That's where I expect them to be, because that's generally where people are. There's a Conqueror down there, but my team should hopefully be able to get rid of him. But because of the HP we're on now at 122, we do have to be careful. You can see I'm pulling forward a little bit, just being a bit careful, keeping my eye out on the ridges to see if I can see anyone. Because the other thing is that BMP. If that BMP spots us, we're as good as dead. But the BMP does get spotted over there, so I'm like, okay, what can I do? You know, I'm going to push up to this building in front of me. Now the Conqueror's gone. I reckon that they're probably all sitting in that corner at B1 too, because that's just where people sit. So let's use this house as cover and then poke around and see if we can see anyone to get shots at them. We try and snap a shot at the BMP2 who spots us. Unfortunately, it misses. So now the BMP2, now we're unspotted and the BMP2's run away. We're going to poke around the other side of the house just to make it so that it's not obvious that we're poking around. And, you know, because we were spotted, they might have been looking at us, our position. Even though we've got lots of foliage, they might have been able to try and find us. Using True Vision, we just see the M60A1 that was sitting by the windmill, there. You can see we're trying to get some shots at him. Unfortunately, we end up ricocheting one shot there, and we can't quite find the shot at the M60A2, who managed to pull back behind the ridgeline. We're just trying to pop a shot now at the corner of the windmill, because I thought I could just about see him poking round, but now I can't. And he may well be just hidden by the ridgeline. I'm just, you know, taking pot shots. The M60A2 gets respotted up above, so we pop a nice shot at him. Just keeping our eye out for that M60A1, seeing if he gets spotted. But now I'm thinking, okay, my heavy's pushed up, my medium's pushed up. Those guys are pushed behind that ridge. We've got two mediums coming up the AB line. I'm going to move into a bit more of an aggressive position to try and help these guys out. We can't quite see a shot at the BMP2. He looks like he might drive out, so we try and snap a shot on the move, and unfortunately it doesn't quite go in. He's the only one left alive, but he's gone straight into my heavy tank and medium tank. He's now a one-shot for one of them, I think, and unfortunately we can't quite get there to get another shot at him. Because of all the hit points we lost, we couldn't be any more aggressive than we were, but we do finish with the victory. 3 kills, 8.2k damage, the ace tanker, 1542 base XP. A decent game for the VT2. Quite a low base XP for the ace, to be honest, but yeah, we'll take it. 8.2k, 8.3k, we're not going to sniff. It's a pretty damn nice game for the tank. And like I said, the VT2 is a really solid tank. I really quite enjoy it because it does sort of hit pretty hard. You have no real penetration issues. The gun's really good. The mobility's solid as long as you can put up with the fact that it is just a little bit sluggish to get up to that top speed. And yeah, I just think it's a thoroughly enjoyable premium tank, to be honest. The only thing it lacks compared to a few tanks at the era are that sort of, you know, 5.5 to 6 second reloads that a fair few of them seem to push out. And HE rounds. It would be, because that is the weird thing about this tank, right? This tank has APF SDS and then another APF SDS or an APDS. I'm not too sure what the premium round is. And then it has a heat round as a third choice ammo. That's really weird, because I'm not sure if there's any other tanks that actually do that. There might be one or two. I just don't know about it. But it's weird that there is no HE round, because there's a fair few of the tanks at the era that actually have HE that, you know, just has like 200 plus pen and hits for like near 600. And if they load that against you as a VT2, they will trash you very quickly. And they reload much quicker than you do. But naturally, you do have better penetration on this AP, on this premium and standard round. I say that 505 pen is just filthy as a premium round, and it means that you can just absolutely butter up the tanks that can really annoy you, like the FV4211. So we're on Westfield, and we've pushed up to this ridgeline, and unfortunately for us, no one else, we've got the medium tank and the heavy tank, but nobody else has moved up. Everyone's sat on the ridge behind us, which is never a good idea, because if they win these ridges, they basically get to farm you, and they can push up to the position at A2 by pushing up the 1 line, and they can go hull down against you and start farming you there as well. Although naturally, with Westfield and True Vision, the guys on the 0 JK line can actually shoot the guys over here as well if they push too aggressively and too high, especially if they push to that counter position at A2. But we're in a VT2, so I'm not too fussed because I'm pretty confident in the strength of this tank. I'm pretty confident in its ability to go hull down. Because we do have loads of people behind us, I'm pretty confident that they'll try and stop anyone like the Mobat and the medium tank on my left from pushing round to get shots at my side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and focus on this Magak 3 and the M60A3 that's on my right. We managed to shut down the M60A3, but unfortunately he managed to snap a shot into us too. But we slap a big shot into the M60A3 there as he was trying to get away, which is nice. So he couldn't retreat without taking some hits. We're on 3.3k damage so far with 1400 resistance. We slap a shot into the cupola of the M60A2 because that is, while that tank has some tremendous stopping power and is absolutely deadly, it doesn't have the best mobility in the universe, and its armour isn't that good, so you can just keep slapping shots into this big cupola that sticks above ridge lines all the day, every day, and it's really nice for that, for shooting at. The cupola of that Mobat as well sticks above the ridge line, and oh, unfortunately the gun derps and doesn't hit that guy's cupola. That's a shame. It is what it is. We couldn't finish that guy off. But we do get a nice tracking shot into the Leopard, and we slap another shot into the turret of the Leopard, which is great. Knocks his HP down. Now I'm reloaded. I want to get rid of this Mobat. And unfortunately, because that shot derped earlier on, that we couldn't get a shot to finish him off, that means that we take a big hit from that guy as we're trying to get his gun out of the game, which knocks us down to 891 hit points that we've got to be careful of. We're 12-5 up at the minute, though, so we're winning quite handily, and I'm just going to change the angle of the engagement against this 4211. We've loaded APCR, or the premium APFS DS, because 505 pen is going to destroy this FV, and that's what we want. Like you can see, going straight through the front of this guy. Unfortunately, we ricochet that one, as to say, oh yeah, we can go through the front of an FV4211's turret with the premium. Ricochets. Thanks, game, for not proving my point. But yeah, we go straight through that guy's upper plate. We're just loading the final round. Hopefully we can get that shot into his upper plate. Where did that shot go? There must have been ridgeline there, and it must have hit the dirt, but why did it not finish him off? Oh well. We didn't get to finish him off. Now we're going in on this Leopard 1, which has a better reload than us, just about, but lower alpha. So once we poked over and shot him once, we pulled back because he could actually finish us off if we weren't careful. And hopefully he will be too distracted with my friend in the 4211, which he is. The 4211 bounces his shot, we pop over and finish the Leopard 1. And I finished the game with 7.5k damage, the epic victory, 1671 base XP, 5 kills, 1500 assistance, 9k combined. The ace tanker, let's say 1621 base XP. A really nice game for the Leopard VT2. Solid Era 2 premium tank, makes you a great amount of credits, really easily makes you a great amount of credits, just like most Era 2 premiums, and it's a pretty fun tank because it's a pretty good all-rounder. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.